Hey guys, what's up? Glad they're here. Today we're gonna take a closer look at the climbing gear in Breath of the Wild. My very first video that I made for this game was actually on the climbing set, so I've kinda come full circle, but that video only covered the locations of where you can find the set, so if you're interested in that, you can go check out that video. But today we're gonna look at the set in more detail, we're gonna do some tests to see how it actually helps us, and if you stick around to the end, I'm going to show you some great locations where you can find the upgrade materials that you'll need to upgrade the set all the way to the highest level. So the climbing gear makes you climb faster, obviously. But how much faster is it really? What we're going to do is head to the foreign tower to perform a little test. We'll equip 0, 1, 2 or 3 pieces of the climbing gear, and then we'll climb from the bottom of the tower up to the first knob near the top that you see here. And the results will tell us how much faster the climbing gear makes Link, as well as how much stamina he uses, and if he uses any less, or if it stays the same. So we started here, and you can see that the full set is obviously going a lot faster than wearing nothing, but the 2-piece and 1-piece are not that far behind. I didn't manage to get a timer on screen, but I will time it with a stopwatch and just show the results on the screen. So by comparing the results of these time trials, we'll find the percentage speed boost that the set offers compared to wearing nothing at all. It looks like the full set is nearing the top right there at 44 seconds. The 2-piece Link is just 3 seconds slower at 47 seconds. And the 1-piece Link is at 51 seconds, while the naked Link is trailing far behind at, let's see, 63 seconds. Now if we do the math, we'll find that the first piece increases Link's climbing speed by 20%. The second piece will add 5% on top of that, and wearing the full set will boost Link's climbing speed by 30% total. Note that the remaining stamina is the same in each trial, meaning that we can't actually climb farther, we just climb faster. But direct climbing speed is not the only thing that the climbing set provides. When the whole set is level 2, it also increases your jump stamina, as you can see here. So let's test that as well. This time we'll only compare 2 different versions, the full set with the bonus on the left and the naked Link on the right. And this time we'll only jump to the top. And as we can see, the difference is pretty big. With the set bonus, Link only uses half the normal amount of stamina to do a climbing jump. And poor little butt-naked Link doesn't even make it to the top, even with 3 full stamina wheels. So what does this mean? Well, the difference between wearing nothing and wearing only 1 piece is 20%, while the difference between wearing 1 and 3 pieces is only 10 more percent. So equipping even 1 piece of climbing gear is a pretty major quality of life increase, and makes climbing feel much faster and more fluid. But it won't actually make you go farther, so if you have a long climb ahead of you, be sure to bring some stamina food. And as for the set bonus, that's probably my favorite part of the set. If you do climbing jumps with the set bonus, you still won't get as far as if you climb normally. The jump will still take more stamina for the same distance, but the difference is not actually that big. And jumping allows you to go much faster and scale small to medium-sized walls or mountains with much greater ease. Especially if you've focused on upgrading your stamina. In terms of defensive power, the climbing gear is in the middle of the pack compared to the other sets. It's not too bad, but there are better defensive armors out there. So you might want to leave this at level 2 and then focus on other armors. But upgrading this set is not actually that hard, especially if you follow the next section. At the maximum level, each piece provides 20 defense. So 60 in total if you wear the whole set, which is actually not bad, and will get you through most of the game against most enemies without too much trouble. So if you like the look of it, go for it. Speaking of upgrades, let's move on to the next section where I'll show you some great locations to find the materials that you'll need to upgrade the set all the way to level 4. So on the left here, I've made a list of all the materials that you'll need to upgrade from level 1 to 4, starting from the top and going down. And we'll go through all of them except for the keys wings, because if you don't have 9 keys wings at this point in the game, then I don't know what to say. In this game, you don't find keys, keys find you. So let's get started with the rush rooms. 9 rush rooms are not that hard to get either, but there's a good spot near the Loya shrine in the west part of Hyrule. Right by the shrine on the cliff to the right are a couple of spawns of rush rooms, and on the wall opposite the stable there will be a ton of them. Moving on to electric key swings, right here's a great spot. It's in the south part of the world by the Shodesa shrine in the Faron region, and just walk north from the shrine to find a cluster of 6 electric keys. Another great spot is to the east of Hyrule Castle by the Namika Oz shrine. To the west you'll find a couple of electric keys, and in this area you can also find ice keys and fire keys. Another good spot is on the road to Zora's domain, just by the Divine Beast if you've cleared it. Just follow the road and you'll find a ton of keys. Moving on to Hightail Lizards, there's a great route for these. Starting at the Hateno Tech Lab, go north into the forest and collect all the Hightail Lizards that you'll find here. Once you got those, we're gonna head west down into the village. And we want to check behind most every house, as most of them have a Hightail Lizard hiding behind them, including several of the ones in the village. For Ice Keys wings, there's a great route by the Kotakar shrine in the Gerudo Highlands. By this enemy camp to the east of the shrine are going to be a couple of ice keys. Move on to the Zerko Mesa. There's a cave right here which contains several ice keys as well as a Dragon Bone Moblin Club. Move on west to this Hollow Rat Skull, which is an enemy camp. You'll find a couple of more there. And back on the other side of this ravine is going to be another enemy outpost with a couple more ice keys. Also make sure you go there at night, or else all the ice keys won't be there. There's also several more in a skull south of the Shagema shrine. Moving on to the hot-footed frogs, we're going to move back to the Zora's domain. There's a great route for these, starting north from the Divine Beast if you cleared it, or just north of the road. In this first location is a pond with a bunch of hot-footed frogs. Just swim around, wear your stealth gear, and catch them. From here we're gonna go southeast to this star-looking area, where there's another pond with one of these tablets for another handful of frogs. I guess it would be pretty hard to hold this many frogs in your hand when I think about it. Anyway, moving on from this spot, to the northeast is another pond again, for our last location in this region. You need 30 hot-footed frogs in total, so after this you should be well on your way. But we have one more spot, by the Monya Tama Shrine in the west part of Hyrule. To the southeast of it is going to be this lake, pond, swamp thingy. Just walk around the whole of it to collect a bunch of frogs, as well as a couple of other materials. For fire key swings, head to the Eldin Tower for a couple of great spots. The spot will give you plenty of wings as well as choo-choo jellies. Just jump off the tower on the west side, and right below you'll see this little ravine. Just follow it all the way down, and on the way you'll see a bunch of fire keys and fire choo-choos. For even more, head back up the hill or back to the tower and go just a little further west, and you'll find another ravine going down with a couple of more fire keys. Now we're going to cover the most tedious of the ingredients that you'll need, just because of where they like to grow. It's the Swift Violets. The first spot is pretty easy. It's right behind the Hadahamar Shrine, which you probably passed pretty early on in the game. In the same region, we're going to head northeast to this area. Another waterfall. Climb up and down both sides of it to collect a bunch of Swift Violets. A great spot for Swift Violets is just to the west of the Ridgeland Tower, but you'll probably want to complete the side quest here first. All these leaves that I've placed on my map represent mushrooms that have Swift Violets growing on them. So go to all these locations and climb up the stem of the mushroom trees, and around the ridge on the top is going to be a bunch of Swift Violets on each of them. Other than these locations, Swift Violets grow basically wherever there is a cliff, which is what makes them a pain in the ass to get, because they like to grow in the middle of the cliff instead of near the top or the bottom, in my experience. So you'll have to do a lot of climbing, but I guess that makes it pretty thematically accurate. So you can check the Hebra region for a lot of Swift Violets, the Gerudo Highlands should have a bunch, and the Eldin region should have a bunch of Swift Violets. growing about. So there you have it. The climbing set is a great and useful set, and now you know exactly what it does and how to upgrade it to the maximum level. But as I said, you might choose to leave this at level 2 and instead focus on upgrading another set which is more combat useful, perhaps. It's up to you. For now, I hope you enjoyed the video, I hope you learned something. Like and subscribe if you want to see more. I have some pretty cool things planned, so stay tuned. But until next time, I will see you guys later. Bye bye!